Just over 5 years ago, I lost my husband to a sudden massive stroke. Since then, I've had to readjust my life in ways that I could never have foreseen, let alone prepare for. Also, during the last 5 years, Donald Trump became president, and the United States and Canada divided itself into partisan groups of pro and anti-Trumpers. The anti-Trumpers became infected with a virus akin to the China pandemic, Trump derangement syndrome. Families became estranged from one another over their difference of political opinion. Civil discussion between people on political topics became almost impossible. Last fall, I had dinner with a friend whom I hadn't seen in quite some time. We do not share the same political views, but as we never ventured into that arena when we got together, this never presented itself as an issue. As dinner was coming to a close, she looked directly at me and asked, "Do you ever wonder why nobody wants to see you anymore?" My reaction initially was shock at the mean-spiritedness of the question, which quickly turned to anger as I felt my hackles rise. I replied that I really didn't care and made good my escape shortly thereafter. When I got home, I composed a carefully worded text to her explaining how saddened I was by her unfriendliness. A few days went by before she replied that I should not be so silly and that of course she was my friend. We have not spoken since. To be honest, I was and still am hurt by the rebuke. However, I let the matter go and got on with my life until this next episode. I belong to a flying club who have been meeting weekly by Zoom while this pandemic has been ongoing. They've shown themselves to be a fearful group who have lapped up all of the COVID hysteria actively promoted by the government and the mainstream media. Most consider themselves to be morally superior, holier-than-thou citizens who are quick to criticize anyone who disagrees with their point of view. I have made few, if any, comments that would have invited controversy. And yet I've been told that since my husband passed away that I've changed. They don't say how, merely that I've changed, which implies in ways that are not approved of. So what am I to conclude? Either I have become a truly despicable person, or they are so miserable in their reduced to nothing locked down lives that criticizing others like me, who have refused to capitulate to this insanity swirling around us now for the past year and a half, is the only thing that makes them feel better. It's the old adage, misery loves company. I could say that this new label of pariah that I've been accorded doesn't affect me in the least, but that would hardly be true. In fact, it saddens me the way our lives have been so adversely affected by a virus that was most likely deliberately unleashed on the world by a corrupt, power-hungry communist China. People we thought we knew have turned out to be not as advertised once the curtain was pulled back. Time for new friends, I suppose. Ones that can see what many of us find so obvious. The emperor is definitely not wearing any clothes.